If the Ten Commandments truly built this nation, you wouldn't have to staple them to the drywall as proof. Welcome back to Theocracy Watch, the segment that tracks the Christian nationalist agenda to rewrite American history and turn public policy into Sunday school. In a bold move recently, a coalition of 16 families and faith leaders from various backgrounds has filed a federal lawsuit against the Texas law requiring public schools to display the Ten Commandments, which we discussed a few weeks ago. Overlord Greg Abbott had signed it on June 21st, mandating that a 16 by 20 inch poster featuring the King James Version be posted in all classrooms, sans supplemental support. The lawsuit argues that this mandate violates the Establishment and Free Exercise Clause of the First Amendment by favoring one religious tradition and alienating non-Christian students. As we've also discussed here, the Louisiana Fifth Circuit recently blocked a similar law suggesting that Texas requirement is unlikely to pass constitutional scrutiny. However, considering the current circumstances, if the injunction is not upheld, around 375,000 classrooms serving 5.5 million Texas students could be affected, costing school districts an estimated $3 million to $9 million with no state funding available for the posters. Proponents, including bill author Senator Phil King, claim the Ten Commandments are fundamental to U.S. law, while sane people argue the law plays into culture wars at the expense of children's civil rights. The assertion that the Ten Commandments were crucial to the Constitution is fundamentally flawed and misleading because the founding documents clearly emphasize the importance of religious freedom and the separation of church and state. Basing educational policies on one religion and not only excludes many students, but also grossly oversimplifies America's complex history and values, or lack thereof. A federal hearing is expected later this month with potentially wide implications for similar laws in other states. We could be looking at either a halt to an alarming trend of scripture mandates or an emboldening wave of such legislation across the states. The Constitution promises every child a public classroom free of compulsory creed. Let's hope that Texas passes that test. So until next time, stay curious and please continue to call your legislators and make noise because people would not know about cases like this if it were not for others who are allowing content like this to be put out because we know mainstream media is probably not circulating it. So stay curious, keep asking questions.
Awesome. Thank you very much for that. You know, Texas, eyes are on you again.
They are. But hey, you know what? I don't know if I said, but this group is, I think it's being led by a rabbi and other faith leaders. So and Muslim alike. So I just want to say thank you to the other organized religions who are standing up now, whether it's because of your own greed or it's because, hey, if it were my religion enforcing this, I would also stand up and say, hey, this is not cool.
Right.
I would hope.
We would hope. Rational Poet Jackie's got a great one here. Barbary Treaty, Article 11, as the government of the United States, America is not in any sense founded on the Christian religion, signed by President John Adams, one of the original founding fathers.
Thank you for that. I didn't realize.
Now, see,
okay.
For those of you who don't know, and anybody can feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but the whole separation of church, the wall should be built between the church and state and all that business. That's not in any official document. That's just some writing, I believe Benjamin Franklin may have done somewhere in there. That's nothing official. Mm-hmm. However, whenever John Adams wrote those words into that treaty with another country, that did indeed make it official, as the government of the United States of America is not in any sense founded on the Christian religion. So those Christians out there who don't like that, thank you very much, Rational Poet Jackie, for sharing that with us.
Well, too bad. Revisionist history sucks.
Mm-hmm. Very much it does.